For this community, the Chelsea community, their vote was loud and clear. It was resounding that we want to see choice for high school kids.
In January, Chelsea residents voted 183 to 132 to merge their school district with nearby Tunbridge. In order to comply with Act 46, Vermont's consolidation law, Chelsea's 64 high school students will disperse to other districts.
I like to talk about the K-12 magic that we have at Chelsea. It's just really special to have kids in kindergarten be in the same building as seniors in high school.
It breaks down barriers. I mean, in a place this small, kids and families, they really have to get along with one another.
Our high school faculty has done an amazing job in the past couple of years of embracing the community aspect of the high school and what it takes to be a community member.
Yeah, you're expected to be more than a teacher. You're expected to be an advisor. You're expected to be a shoulder to cry on, someone to talk to. I mean, there's just so many more expectations, I feel, that are put on small school teachers.
The community that we have and the care that we take of all of our students, there wasn't, because they're always in the same building, there's no cracks to slip through, there's no, and now there is. They've really made a big crack in the community.
We are becoming a merged district with a merged board with the town of Tunbridge. So we're going to be two K-8 schools side by side with one board that governs both of the schools and one budget.
So the entire high school faculty, so we'll have an English position eliminated, math, science, social studies.
You know, teachers, particularly at the high school level, are definitely looking for jobs and trying to figure out what their next move is. So I think that, you know, whether conscious or not conscious, is certainly kids notice when people are absent, and, you know, if they're absent for a few days, it's like, well, where's this person? And, you know, well, they've gone across the country for a job interview.
With the high school closing, Chelsea will lose athletics and other activities that have become a part of the town's life.
You're losing a central focus of a community. You're looking at it from the viewpoint of not just sports, but drama, potluck dinners, and all of those different events, graduation. All of those are no longer going to be a part of Chelsea's experience.
Chelsea, as far as its athletic prowess, we may be small in size and small in team numbers, but when we field teams, we're very competitive.
I mean, the high school athletics, you know, are totally gone because there'll be no high school. I mean, I was talking about a young man today who, you know, he is not super athletic, and he fully acknowledges that and knows that. You know, he goes to a bigger school, and I don't think he'll participate in extracurricular activities, at least not athletic activities. And, you know, for him, it's not about getting on the field and being a great player. It's about that camaraderie that's built by being part of a team and just being with that group and, you know, building relationships and friendships that are going to last.
So tonight's performance is a culmination of 8 of the 13 major musicals that Chelsea Public Schools ever produced. It's kind of a message to the students of, you know, sometimes life can be scary, change happens, look for the positives.
It really has been upsetting for the students, and I think it was a really, it hurt their trust in their community, I think.
Junior Ronald Johnson helped organize an unsuccessful revote effort to keep the school from closing.
You know, I wanted to graduate from Chelsea. My dad and all of my uncles and even my grandfather graduated from here. So, you know, I've got a lot of family history just here that I wanted to continue.
Sometimes I feel like the state kind of doesn't understand. I definitely have the feeling of, like, there's not a real connection between, like, the legislation and what's actually happening in the schools. I think that a big part of wanting to talk about this is just I wanted to be part of the whole process. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to be able to help to see what it would look like. We're such a small town and a small community, and there's something special about it, and it's kind of hard to understand without being a part of it.
You know, within the last 5 years, there's been discussion about closing it. You know, they didn't think it was financially viable. You know, we definitely have had a decline in students.
We have one teacher for basically every subject in this school. We just have one science teacher, we have one English teacher, and it wasn't always that way at Chelsea. So I think that it's tough, but it's also, there's the other side of having to see what's right for the education of all of the students here.
In Act 46, lawmakers wrote, "It is not the state's intent to close its small schools, but rather to ensure that those schools have the opportunity to enjoy the expanded educational opportunities and economies of scale that are available to schools within larger, more flexible governance models."
We don't offer as many classes as some bigger high schools do, but I still think that Chelsea is worth keeping open.
I talk about doing things the Chelsea way, which is really the bare bones way, and we make it work, but no one feels like they're being deprived. Large schools with a low per pupil cost are not, by virtue of having those things, the top of the line school.
Do I see savings? Short run, I don't, but perhaps in the long run, yes.
If you have a student or students who move into your town and all of a sudden they're going to a school that's, each of them $18,000 a year, that could very well mean cuts in a position at the K-8 level, because that's really that's the only place you can cut.
Like the specials that kids in elementary and middle school take, like art and music and foreign language, are seeing cuts in their programming. So our teacher right now is employed full-time, but next year she won't be, because they're trying to save money and and the way to do that is to cut back on staff.
Chelsea's freshmen, sophomores, and juniors can now choose to attend almost any high school in the state next year.
A big portion of our high school population will be going to the Thetford Academy, which is to the west of us here, and another large chunk will be going to what has normally been our designated tech center, the Randolph High School and the Randolph Tech Center.
Every student has visited schools once, twice, 3 times, 4 times.
And you've got, different teachers and community members and coaches saying, oh, you should go here, or hey, come here, we can do this for you. And I think it's going to set a lot of kids up to possibly make decisions that they're not ready for.
Like feeling like the new kid, that's not something we're used to, because we've literally all grown up with each other, and almost all of us from kindergarten until now. And so it kind of, I think that shadowing process brought to light how special Chelsea is.
It's hard to see a community so torn and kids confused about why it's happening, and some understanding and some not. So it's a difficult situation.
Being a K-12 principal these last 6 years, it's going to feel and look a lot different around here.
In my mind, when I think about next year, it's like the elementary school in the front, in the old part, and then this ghost town of a high school hanging on to the end. It spooks me.
Coming in next year will be really strange, because I'll walk in and there won't be any high school kids here, but their rooms will be in the same place, and they'll come down to go to art class and won't walk by rooms full of high school kids.
That was what Chelsea prides itself on, is we take care of each other, and I just hope that all of these kids are taken care of.
I mean, I'd be interested to see where Chelsea is in 10 years after this, if it is a vibrant community, or if it is just one where people move so that kids can have school choice.